Alrighty, good evening, everybody. Welcome to Inside the Office with me, Sheriff Briese. Also, our partners at KRYZ 98.5 are here today as well. And this is our first late night inside the office, so we'll see how it works. Hopefully everybody can hear me good today. We're trying out a new microphone. The old one was broken. So we will get started with, like always, our 7-day look back of events that occurred in the week. So we had 464 calls for service. And out of those calls for service, we had 9 jail bookings. One of those was DUI related. We had 2 domestic violence related, possession of methamphetamines, multiple of those. So we are still staying busy out there for you and your communities and doing good stuff out there. So notable cases, I didn't really pull any that were too crazy, but I am going to kind of talk tonight about some of as we move into summertime and water safety, boating safety, because we have had a few boating accidents. So I figured that would be a good topic to talk about today, and also just go over some things that are going on internally in the office. And we did a lot of updating, I think, last week with the homeless. So, I mean, if we have more questions, obviously we'll address them. But we did have our first, it kind of maybe sounds boring, but it's very important for us to operate at the sheriff's office. And that was, we had a budget update. And so far so good. We want to continue to keep you, the community, engaged of how that process is working. Because as you know, we had a rough year last year with reductions and positions being frozen. And, you know, it just hurts us here in the communities safety-wise. So we are going to go through that process and hopefully gain some positions back and some other operating expenses for safety equipment and other things like that. So as we walk through this together, like I said, we do this as a community. We do this as one. I will continue to keep everyone updated on that process and how that is going. But because we have been seeing a spike in methamphetamine related cases, and it's constant, a constant battle for us right now, we are developing what we call the Spca team, and granted staffing and time allows, it'll be basically a proactive enforcement team in areas that we feel are higher in traffic for this ugly drug that's plaguing everywhere. So the Spca team is going to stand for Sheriff's Proactive Enforcement and Response Team, and the focus is on methamphetamines and illegal drugs. So that will be exciting. Hopefully we can really ramp that up and let everybody know that that's not welcome here in Mariposa County. So again, leave your drugs at home. We did do we're doing and not me, but a lot of the deputies wanted to see a potential policy regarding beards. So we did start a trial, I guess, run. We'll see what 6 months does and how it looks, and if there's any positive or negative effects to that. So I think some of the deputies are happy they can have a little bit of a beard if they want. Obviously, it's optional. And then we did have a new promotion, so I wanted to just let the community know. Longtime employee and resident of this community is Justin Sponholz, and he has been promoted to patrol sergeant. He was currently working as a detective, and he's been with this office since 2002. Starting out as a custodial deputy and becoming a patrol deputy in 2007. So congrats to Justin. If you see him, tell him congratulations. I think he'll be a great supervisor and do good things for us here in Mariposa. We also hired a part-time 911 dispatcher, Francia. So she is starting her training. So she'll be able to assist in dispatch and learn all the duties there. So good things happening there. And then I always, congratulate or wish happy birthdays when they land on a Thursday and on the inside the office. However, this birthday was yesterday, but I'm going to point it out because this birthday was really special. It was for our reserve deputy / detective, Kathy Sarno. So wish her a happy birthday. And why I point this out is she has dedicated over 43 years of service to the Mariposa Sheriff's Office for the residents and visitors of this county. So I know it didn't land on a Thursday, but I think it's noteworthy to definitely give her a shout out. And then also with COVID restrictions loosening, I am hoping that we can also, still continue this. And I think this is a great engagement and great way to communicate. But I would like to also start maybe having some face-to-face community meetings or small groups in your communities, and we can talk about, things going on in your communities. So if you think there's a need or a certain community that we can set something up, we will work with you. If you can contact our public information officer, Christy Mitchell, at 209-966-3615, and we can try to get some of these community meetings scheduled and back out there in your communities. And before we go into my topic, what we're talking about, we had a call today for a stolen vehicle, and so I just wanted to put that out to everybody watching and listening. It was taken from the Ben-Hur area. We transferred it to CHP to take the report, and it's a Hyundai with a license plate of 8SWV342. So please keep your eyes out for that. That's an unfortunate thing that's happened. We actually have had 3 different incidences within the week regarding stolen vehicles, not all from Mariposa, but they ended up in Mariposa. So, still be cautious, be on the lookout for that. Help us out, help CHP out, hopefully to find that. So the topic today is water safety, boating safety, summertime, everybody's getting out, enjoying the lakes, rivers. And so I just wanted to put out there that, we patrol, we have 2 deputy sheriffs that patrol Lake McClure, Lake McSwain, and they're there, full-time peace officers for your safety and to make sure everybody's being safe. But again, make sure you have, life vests and proper stuff, and your boat, has a drain plug in it before you put it in the water, all that good stuff. And also for the boaters out there, the good etiquette of launching your boat and being courteous to one another with your boat ramp launching, parking, backing, all that good stuff. But the safe boating now includes the boater's card, and so effective January 1st, 2021, all persons 40 years and younger have to have this boater license, basically. And so the boater license is obviously been implemented to show that the boaters know basic boating safety, boating laws, and just an added safety measure that the people boating are being responsible. So to obtain those boater cards, you can go to www.californiaboatercard.com, and the approved courses online will be listed there. So there are some exemptions for the boater cards, but that will all also be on the website as well. We are still currently looking for a part-time office assistant and also sheriff security officers to help with security at our courthouse. The security officer or the qualifications for the office assistant would be preferred to have at least 1 year of clerical experience and a high school diploma or equivalent. And then for the sheriff security officer, also a high school diploma or equivalent and an 832 post certificate, which is your basic laws of arrest. So with that, I think I skimmed over that pretty quickly. I hope everybody's enjoying the late night. I do have my Inside the Office coffee cup. And we will go to questions. So a question from our KRYZ listener: what do deputies do when they get a call about a cow or a horse in the roadway? So any animals in the roadway, obviously we'd respond to. If animal control is on during the daytime hours, they also respond because they have a very good rapport with a lot of the ranchers and everybody with large animals. But we also transfer those calls to our partners at the California Highway Patrol, and they respond as well. Another question from KRYZ listener: does animal control work with the SPCA? So the short answer, yes. They work together, and what they do is they try to work together in rehoming animals. So they have a good working relationship. And KRYZ listener: are parking tickets going to be issued in the future? Good question. I believe the Board of Supervisors are working on clarifying and making the ordinance clear. And so the short answer is we will have the ability to, but what I've been very clear about as well is we're not trying to get in the business of writing parking tickets. But with this ordinance, it will be a tool, just like we have vehicle code laws and all the other different laws that we do enforce. And if we had to issue a ticket, we would have that ability. And the big issue, and we're going to really hopefully get up into the community of El Portal, because I think this is where the parking citation started to develop a little more, is it's not just about the parking citation. It's about a real problem right now they're having with overflow, and it boils down to safety and fire, because a lot of individuals are parking on the roadways. And unfortunately, it'd be nice if we have a overflow designated spot. But again, this is like what we talk about with the homeless encampment that we've been discussing, is fire danger. So you have individuals that set up camp alongside the roadway, and with that, there's a lot of makeshift campfires to cook their food or sit around, I don't know, singing. But the big issue is fire in the El Portal River Canyon area, and the abundance of vehicles and visitors that are just making their own campsite. So yes, they are working on a parking citation ordinance. Yes, we would have the ability to utilize those as a tool, but again, we are always going to try to gain compliance voluntarily. And quite frankly, we're just not really in the business to write parking tickets. So we're a sheriff's office. We're here for you, the community. We do enforce laws and provide public safety. And again, it's just a tool that we will have at our disposal if we needed to utilize it. Another area that was plagued pretty hard earlier on this year we talked about was a roadway in the North County subdivision. People refer to it as Graffiti Hill. But basically, it's an area that became popular for having parties or viewing sunsets. But then the trash came, the drugs came, the graffiti came. And so, again, this would help us move people along if we needed to, because it was a real issue there. Another area that they have a lot of issues seasonally is in the fish camp, and that's when the snow comes. And we're the ones that get the calls, and it's not to be a heavy hand of enforcement, but a tool to move people along, because people are enjoying the snow, but they're parking in people's driveways or in dangerous areas. So it's a good tool, but you can trust that we're going to always try to gain compliance. We're going to work through everything. We're not going to just start writing tickets. So I hope I answered that. It's probably a long-winded answer, but hey, it's 7 at night. All right. Question from a KRYZ listener: what can the general public do to help you and your officers? So the number one thing to do is this engagement, being able to communicate. And like I've said from the beginning, we're open to hear, we're open to work through issues. But having that community engagement is the key for us to know what's going on, because what we don't know, we don't know. And as we, have a big county to police, being our eyes and ears, feeling comfortable to make reports to us, and even things, if we agree or not agree on, we can work through it together. So the biggest help is trust, and the biggest help is community engagement. Frank, how you doing, buddy? Will you be enforcing citing regarding boating licenses? How do people get the boating license? So, again, we're on the lake. People are there to enjoy and recreate, but we want them to do all that safely. So I'm sure the deputies, just like everything, they have discretion. We work through a lot of issues without ever having to hand down, citations. So we could enforce it. We could cite if we had to, but common sense comes through all the time. And for the boating cards, I had to get my paper, because it's www.californiaboatercard.com. Go to that website, and that's how you can obtain your boater card. Tamara, I have a neighbor that is a huge pot grower, lots of traffic. Who should we contact, please? So we've had this discussion before. They're out there. They're everywhere. To contact us would be the first step. We have right now Sergeant Mike Sherman. He runs our team that handles the marijuana grows in the county. But again, this is community involvement. This is helping us. Staffing. It comes down to staffing. We have big to small to what's legal, what's not legal. A lot of issues with all that, and I've voiced the concern to board members and planning that we need to work together to find out a better way to address the issue, because everything comes to us, and we do our very best with the staffing we have to try to knock out as many as we can. So, short answer to your question, give us a call, and you can, if you want, you can even say you like your voicemail or whatever to go to Sergeant Mike Sherman, and he will get it to the team. Again, this team is your patrol deputies who are working patrol, and then this team is then putting on their hats and working, days off and overtime to combat this problem. So it is a staffing issue, and we do our very best. Tamara, and she is now creating an illegal hip camp on Grosjean. I don't know what a hip camp is, but I would say just go ahead and call us. Let's make a report. Let's at least have a deputy start digging into seeing what the issues are, and if we have illegal activity, we'll address that activity as we do all calls. Luis, thank you for your service and for doing Inside the Office. Well, thank you for listening, and I think you were having trouble last time because of the time frame. So hopefully this, at least once a month, 7 o'clock, you can be out here live and engage live in the questions and answers. So thank you for tuning in. I appreciate it. Dan Zone, it seems like there used to be circa 20 years ago a lot of meth labs in Mariposa County. When you confiscate meth, you have access to a state lab to determine its exact compound to help determine where it is coming from. So the methamphetamine, we do have access to cleanup labs, state stuff, but we don't really have a way to send it to a lab to process the compounds to identify where it's coming from, because this stuff generally comes from out of the country. down south, and then it works its way up. And then it changes many hands, and it changes many compounds because they cut it, they step on it, they introduce other things. So you get your one amount becomes a bigger amount. And so it would be, I don't know how we would do it, but there may be a way. Robert, there have been quite a few dogs that roam between properties. They have killed some livestock. Knowing that these dogs take off before animal control responds, what are our options to protect our livestock if dogs return? We do not know who, and I can't read the rest of that question.
Owns the dogs.
Who owns the dogs? So first off, even if animal control is not there when they're there, still make a report. They can still work on, being in the area, or work on, possible known owners. So they do a really good job, like I said, and have a really good rapport with animal owners. I mean, they do not just from enforcing animal control issues, but they're also engaged with, the rabies clinics and everything else. So we have, licensing and different ways to identify. When it comes to livestock, it's touchy because, as a lot of people, their animals are like their kids. So, and animals are, should be contained, within the property, and sometimes they get out. So judgment, common sense, again, is going to be a huge key factor, but there are laws pertaining to protection of your livestock. And so you can protect your livestock, however that may be, and go from there. But I wouldn't just, think it's carte blanche to go shooting dogs. And let's try to identify them. Let's try to work as neighbors. Let's try to work with one another. But yes, livestock, horses, cattle, that kind of stuff, if they are being, I think the law even says basically harassed or in imminent jeopardy or danger, you can protect them however you feel fit. Victoria, are there any job openings in the department? So I just rattled off two. One is a part-time office assistant, and the other is a sheriff's security officer. We currently are testing for two, or actually now it's three custody deputies, so jail officers. They have their oral panel this weekend, so hopefully we'll get some candidates there. And then as we go through this budget process, all these frozen positions that are frozen, I'm hoping that I can get some of these positions back. So it's a process, and it's, again, a process also with the community to stand behind your sheriff's office, and you want us to provide the best safety. So as we go through it, I will keep everyone informed as promised. Pat, how are you doing? Haven't seen you in a while. Do you ever run out of room in the jail when someone is arrested in Mariposa, but there is a warrant from another county? Where do they end up? That's a detailed question, Pat. I have to take a sip of my coffee. So the jail, yeah, we have capacity issues. That's why I've been hoping for this grant money from our governor. Doesn't look like it's going very well for us. Sounds like the money is going to be repurposed, so it's very unfortunate. So we're going to have to think of a plan B. But capacity issues are a huge issue because of segregation, and some people can't be housed with other people, and some people may have, mental health issues and whatever that, for housing and safety. So we generally don't house misdemeanors. They're usually a book and release type situation, just because, again, capacity and what we're dealing with. We also have been dealing with, because of COVID, inmates that should have been sent to prison were kept at county jail. So there's a whole bunch of things going on. But if somebody's arrested in Mariposa, and there's a warrant from another county, basically if the arrest is a local charge, would come to our jail. If the warrant from another county, what we do is we contact that agency, and that agency will give us they'll give us the word either that it's a citable offense warrant or it's a warrant they want. And if it's a warrant they want, we'll house them, and then that agency will come up and pick up the inmate. Robert, and someone should send a little bird to deliver a message to whoever is in charge of the barbecue competition. Well, like I told you before, the Sheriff's Management Association is the one that hosted the barbecue competitions, and the president of the Sheriff's Management Association is Sergeant Mike Sherman. So fly that birdie over to Mike. Susan, are the vehicle thefts from homes any tips to prevent the thefts? So the other ones I talked about earlier this week came from our neighboring jurisdictions, but came to our county, and we ended up catching them. The one today was from a residence, like I said, in the Ben-Hur area. Tips are, and I fall to this too, but taking your keys out of your car. I know people say it's just Mariposa, but Mariposa is in California, and we border, big cities, so people can get here. But obviously, if you can take your keys out of your car, locking your car, those type of things. I know a lot of people have been getting cameras, which are very beneficial for us when something does happen, because then we have some better leads to go off of. But I would say just your basic, be watchful of suspicious vehicles or, people lurking in the area. And then if you're in the town area, and then also, locking and securing your vehicles. Sean, haven't seen any fire crews up here clearing ladder fields. Do they plan on doing any cleaning up here in North County? Man, that's another probably Steve Ward, Chief County Fire stuff. But I don't know their time schedule. I believe they are going to be doing some. I would have to defer that to CAL FIRE. I don't have their phone number offhand, but you can contact the Mariposa headquarters, and I'm sure they have a schedule or an answer for you. And by the way, I was over about half a day today in the North County, and it's looking very nice over there. And I talked to some folks and some business owners, and things are looking good. So it was a nice drive. All right. So Luis, now I won't get fired. Yes, you can engage and not worry about your boss. But you can always watch it too. After 4, it's pre-recorded. But I really do thank you for engaging. Ooh, that's a hard name to pronounce. Dina, I'm guessing. I'm sorry if I didn't do it right. But because we are recording for the radio station, I have to read everything. So I'm doing my best. Any comment on the heavy law enforcement presence in Little Hollywood today? Sure. So Little Hollywood is a nickname. It's actually Miller Road. It's right here in town. Basically, they had some individuals, and they were doing a check, and one of the individuals tried to run away. So they had a little foot chase. We assisted our partners at Mariposa Probation. They initiated the chase. So I don't have all the details, but more than likely it was a probationer that was probably not going along with the program. So we went there, and he was safely apprehended with no injury that I know of. Charlie Brooks, thank you for all you do. God bless you all. Well, thank you, Charlie, and I thank you for always tuning in and also, being those eyes and ears for us. I really do appreciate it. Sean Long, have you talked to Steve how speaking once a week with you? I did kind of briefly talk to him. I don't know if he wants to do that. I'll leave that up to him. But yeah, Steve Ward is He's the chief and head of county fire. He's CAL FIRE, but is running county fire. That would be a question you'd have to pipe into him. Sarah, glad I'm catching this live. Well, I'm glad you're catching that live too. Hello, neighbor. Robert, thank you, Sheriff, for these updates and questions and answers. We support you and appreciate all of you. Be safe, buddy. Well, thank you, Robert. I appreciate you tuning in, and I appreciate this engaging, having conversation and feeling comfortable to talk to your sheriff's office. All right, so we have done our first inside the office. I guess we'll call it late night inside the office with me, Sheriff Briese. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. I hope this was a little different, maybe helped out. We'll try to do it once a month. We'll get some feedback. But we can't do our jobs without you. We need you, the community. We need you, to continue this engagement. Hopefully soon I'll be able to see you in your communities. Maybe we can have some small meet and greets and have some good conversations. So as always, thank you for tuning to Inside the Office, and stay safe and stay healthy.